Welcome back to the Sports Rock Show.
Brock.
Trading bastard would be Zach Gibbs, who fans listen. Hold your seats. He hates Bruce Springsteen. He hates John Mellencamp.
Did I say hate?
And I think he really likes Kim Jong-un as root for North Korea. I'm just saying.
Yeah, he might be.
So we may have a Benedict Arnold amongst us.
It's up for debate.
Or a Judas Iscariot.
Judas, don't kiss me, man. Please don't kiss me. Judas, don't kiss me, man. Don't kiss me.
That's where we've gone with this.
Yeah, don't kiss me. Don't kiss me. That could go bad. That could be bad all the way around.
All right, so we're going to kick off the AL Central.
Yeah.
With the Minnesota Twins. Boo.
Boo.
Yeah, but are we really threatened by the Twins? Well,
not a bit. Not a bit.
Might be fighting for that cellar spot with them.
Yeah.
Hey.
He's up. He's up.
So, this Minnesota Twins lineup is looking like Aaron Hicks, Joe Mauer, Josh Willingham, Justin Morneau, Ryan Domit, Trevor Plouffe, Chris Parmelee, Brian Dozier, and Pedro Florimon Jr. On the bench is Jamie Carroll, Eduardo Escobar, Darren Mastroianni, Wilkin Ramirez. In that rotation is Vance Worley, Kevin Correa, Mike Pelfrey, Liam Hendricks, Pedro Hernandez. Closing is Glenn Perkins, then Jared Burton, Casey Fine, Brian Densing, Josh Reinick, Ryan Presley, and Anthony Schwarzak. Douglas, what do you think of this Minnesota Twins team?
I think this team's going to struggle. They're probably going to fight for the basement. Their lineup is okay. Mauer's a good player. Can he stay healthy? Morneau's a good player. Can he stay healthy?
But they both got some miles on them.
They do. They've got some decent young players. Their pitching staff is shaky. Perkins is their closer. He's okay. I have nothing to write home about. I think this team's going to struggle. I've got them at 71 and 91.
All right, Zach.
Yeah, this ain't your father's Minnesota Twins team for sure.
They never were my twins, brother.
I mean, they brought in a bunch of starters. You know, they have a bunch of 3s and 4s on that staff and 5s basically.
Yeah.
You know, they still got Mauer. I mean, if he's healthy, he's still going to produce.
Willingham.
Willingham had a career year in his 30s last year. Over 30 homers, 100 RBIs. Morneau's got to be healthy. Domit is solid. A solid DH. He can play first. He can catch. He can play corner outfield spots. Plouffe will probably hit 30 homers, but hit 220.
I wonder if he's any relation to David Plouffe, who ran Obama's campaign.
Possibly. They got Scott Diamond on the DL right now, who led them in wins last year. They got Worley from Philly in the Revere trade. I like Correa, and if Pelfrey comes back.
That reminds me, I forgot to name you the DL. The DL has got Cole, DeVries, Scott Diamond, and Tim Wood.
Yeah.
DeVries is a starter.
Tim Wood.
He comes off. He may go into the rotation.
I got some wood right now.
Oh, did not need to know that. Whew. So, record, Zach.
Record, I see. I'm going to go 69 and 93.
Wow.
James?
Pretty damn close to what Zach just said. So I'll go 68 and 94.
All right. So, that'll do it for the Minnesota Twins. Moving on to the Kansas City Royals.
Different story here.
We're working from the basement up a little bit.
Yeah, I think this might be more of the echelon.
On that 25-man roster, your lineup is Alex Gordon, Alcides Escobar, Billy Butler, Mike Moustakas, Salvador Perez, Eric Hosmer, Jeff Francoeur, Lorenzo Cain, and Chris Getz. On the bench, in the dugout, whatever. George Kataris, Miguel Tejada, Elliot Johnson, and Jared Dyson. He's been playing forever.
He's been out for a couple years. He just came back.
He played.
Oh, he's probably rejuvenated now, man.
Didn't he play for the Orioles back when Ripken was there?
No, he played for him a couple years ago.
He didn't play with Ripken Jr.?
No, I don't think he's been around that long.
Oh, yeah, he was in Oakland.
He won the
right.
he was an MVP in Oakland.
Yeah, I don't think he's been there that long, but he's been around.
In that
for a while.
rotation-
He's almost 40.
Yeah, that's true.
Is
He's been around a
James
while.
Shields, Jeremy Guthrie also has some miles on him. Went out and spent some money on Irvin Santana, Wade Davis, and Luis Mendoza. In the pen, closing is Greg Holland, Kelvin Herrera, Aaron Crow, Tim Collins, Luke Pochevert, Juan Gutierrez, and Bruce Chen. My bad.
Jan.
Same thing.
Exactly.
I think they got exactly what they needed to in the offseason with that starting pitching.
Well, Santana, I wish the Indians would have went after Irvin Santana, especially now.
He hit us last year.
Mhm.
But
I was at the game.
Yeah.
See, but then
We got to run now, but we didn't get
I
a
was
hit.
also there on July 4th when he pitched against the Indians and got rocked.
Yeah, that's true.
So-
Very Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
Very Jekyll and Hyde.
He'll throw the innings.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'll throw the innings. They have 4 solid major league starters in that staff. And
Yes.
I don't know how Luis Mendoza won that 5th spot with with Bruce Chen, who was their ace last year.
Well, he's out of options, so that might be why.
And Hochevar, former number 1 overall pick, has not figured it out at all. They're talking about having him be a setup guy, possibly.
Sorry, on their disabled list, folks, it's a little rough over here at Sprock. You got to give us a second chance. Their disabled list is Danny Duffy and Felipe Paulino. So,
Yeah, I mean,
record, what do you think?
that lineup's solid. I think Hosmer's going to have a bounce back.
That
year.
lineup is solid. That rotation is solid.
And that bullpen's got horses.
This is not your
Holland.
daddy's Royals in a good way.
No, in a good way. They got, Holland, Herrera, and Crow at the end are all 95 plus. Collins is like 5'4", a little lefty.
Mhm.
Tiny Tim Collins.
Gets everybody out pretty much. I see them at. I'm gonna go.
Well, they're a 90-win team.
I'm gonna make a. I don't think they're a 90-win team. I see them winning 86 games.
Okay.
They're good.
Oh yeah,
I think
they're
very
solid. They're very solid.
Okay, so that'd be 86 and
76.
yeah. I went to Tusky Valley. Give me a break.
Kentucky Valley.
James, where are we at with the KC Royals?
I see him 90 and 62.
Okay.
Not playing 10 games at
Doug?
all. 90 and 72.
Or 72. I'm sorry. Well, hell yeah, that's just givens.
Hey, he went to Dover. That's even
Sorry.
worse.
And 10
Oh, come on. We've been to a lot more playoff games than Tuscaloosa has.
Well, that's because you buy your way to them.
We
Anyways.
just fucking
You
better.
smugged over.
We're
people.
better. We smoke? Dover
Smug.
people?
Smug.
Huh.
You people.
Smug you people. Smug you.
Smug Dover people. Douglas, another Tusky Valley grad.
I've got the Royals at not quite that good. Better than before. This is a better Royals team because of that pitching that they've added. They've got a lot of still younger players that I don't think quite know how to win yet, but they are going to be better and they are going to be over 500. I've got them at 84 and 78.
I do as well. So
I could definitely see him fighting for a wild card spot.
I think they've improved their
I think
team a
so.
lot better. I think they have.
Pitching,
I think
If that
they've
hitting-
improved their team a
if
lot.
Hosmer bounces back, if Moustakas has a solid year, they're gonna be right there.
all right, moving on. Moving
White
up
Sox.
to the dreaded
The
Chicago
bad guys.
Black White Sox.
Yeah.
Big fan of the city of Chicago overall.
If there's a rival that we have,
But I hate
it's
the
It
White
has to be
I
them.
hate
It
the
has
White
to be them.
Sox.
And it does. It has to be.
I would love to see them finish in last place every year from now until the
Jack
end of
Parkman's an
time.
asshole.
But the simple fact is, they're not going to finish in last place.
No,
They're not.
they're always there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they
not going
They've
to
had
finish
the
in last
same
place.
team for pretty much the last 8 years or so.
They bring in the people they need, and they do it the way they need.
Speaking of that, nice segue. Would you like to explain
yes,
the roster?
I would. Their roster right now, and thank God AJ Pierzynski's gone because he always was.
Oh Christ,
he was always in the
Indians beater.
My God,
every time he played,
all the
what a
time.
hemorrhoid.
Oh yeah,
really
they still have an Indians beater called Paul Konerko.
Oh yeah,
oh yeah.
So
you can't get rid of all of
this
them.
lineup is Alejandro De Aza, Jeff Keppinger, Alex Rios, Adam Dunn,
Tough.
Paul Konerko,
Tough.
Dayan
Viciedo.
Alexei Ramirez, Connor Gillespie, Tyler Flowers on the bench, Hector Jimenez, Angel Sanchez, Dwayne Wise.
Dwayne Wise. He's learning how to catch a ball.
In that rotation is Chris Sale, who awesome.
Nasty.
I mean, he's just a very good
nasty.
pitcher. Jake Peavy, better days are probably behind him, but still a solid pitcher.
Oh yeah.
Gavin Floyd, Jose Quintana, and Dylan Axelrod. In the pen, closing is Addison Reed. Then you got Matt Thornton, Jesse Crane, Nathan Jones, Hector Santiago, Matt Lindstrom, Donnie Vial, and Deontay Heath. Doug.
Well, the White Sox stay steady.
Mm-hmm.
Their lineup has got some players. Beckham is out.
Yeah, out
for about 6 weeks. And he'd gotten off to a hot start.
My bad.
but
Once again, the DL. Let me run through this real quick.
Well, he just went on the DL, so.
Gordon Beckham, John Danks, and Layson Septimo.
Well, Danks is another starter.
Yeah.
Their lineup is okay. Konerko, Dunn, Rios. Their pitching staff, their starting pitching is pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
With Chris Sale, Gavin Floyd, Jake Peavy, Quintana, and Axelrod. And if Danks comes back, their bullpen isn't too bad.
I guess I'm playing for.
But I see this team 500, 81 and 81.
All right, Zach.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I had him just about. I'll just for the sake of being different, I'll go 80 and 82. But I mean, you know what you're getting every year with them. They have 90+% of the same roster intact every year.
Yep.
I think they're going to have to rely heavy on Sale to carry them quite a bit, like he did last year.
He's the type of guy that if you start to get into a slide, he can get you out of it.
He's nasty. He's Randy Johnson nasty.
Yes,
almost.
He is.
I mean, but that bullpen, they got guys that can just blow it past you, but they're not getting any younger either.
No.
I see a little bit of a decline this year.
Konerko's, he's got to be
Konerko done
15th year, something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to be close.
He's been around.
Viciedo's young, Diaz's young, but
I've got the White Sox at 83 and 78. What about you, James?
83 and 78?
Yes. My bad. Whatever.
Math major.
This is why I went to the social services field, because math is not a strong suit.
82 and 79. 80.
82 and 80, you mean?
80, yeah. So,
all right, moving on
80.
to the Detroit Tigers. Boo! Hate the Tigers.
That other team up north now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just reload.
You're looking at a lineup of Austin Jackson, Torrey Hunter, Miguel Cabrera, Prince Fielder, Victor Martinez, Andy Dirks, Jahani Peralta, Alex Avila, and Omar Infante. On that bench is Brian Pena, Ramon Santiago, Matt Tuiasosopo.
For sure.
Is he any relation to Marcus Tuiasosopo?
I think he is.
Who created the fake girlfriend for Manti Te'o? And Don Kelly. The rotation. This rotation is flat out scary. You've got Justin Verlander, Cy Young winner. Anibal Sanchez, very good. Rick Porcello, awesome.
Porcello.
Whatever.
Porcello.
I've never heard anybody say Porcello other than you.
Play a cello.
Well, that's because usually it's Porcello, except for stuck-up dicks who pronounce it
Dick
Porcello.
Fisher and Max Scherzer.
That's Doug Fister and Max Scherzer. Anyways, moving on to the bullpen, Joaquin Benoit closing, Phil Koch, Al Albuquerque, Octavio Dotel, Drew Smiley, Brian Villarreal, and Darren Darren Downs in that pen.
Yeah.
You know what? Put in an application. Maybe you can have it.
Who's on the injured list?
Ah! Nice call, James.
Thank you.
On the DL right now is Avisail Garcia.
Oh, okay.
These Tigers. A lot of people think they're the team to beat and that they are going to be a World Series winner this year. What do you think, Doug?
Well, I don't know if they're going to win. I don't know if they're going to win a World Series, but this team on paper is the class of the American League. Their lineup
over the Angels. And
their lineup, top to bottom, is as good as any. Certainly in the American League, if not all baseball. And their starting pitching is top 3 or 4 of all of baseball.
It's scary. There's no doubt.
Their bullpen.
They got to figure out who's going to close.
They're going to go with Benoit. They did re-sign Papa Grande, Jose Valverde. He's in the minors, but I like Albuquerque, Koch, Dotel, Smiley. They've got some guys there. This team is by far the class of the division, by far. I've got them 95 and 67.
Zach.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as they figure out who's going to close for him, if it's Benoit, if he's going to be automatic like Valverde was a couple years ago, I mean, it's going to be lights out. I would say if they were probably a worse team, I'd throw Albuquerque out there because he's got the makeup of a closer, but that team's it's nasty. That rotation's nasty. That lineup is scary. There's not an easy out in that lineup at all.
A little questionable on defense.
Yeah, pretty questionable.
So give us a record.
I see. I'm going to say 93 and 69.
James?
162.
And I've got 90 and 72. I don't think they're going to be. I think they're going to be a very good team.
Oh,
but I think they're beatable. So, moving on.
Okay.
To the team we've all been waiting for.
Yeah.
Number 5 on our countdown, but number 1 in your heart.
That's right.
Number 1 in our hearts and number
Number 5 in the division right now.
Yeah.
Cleveland Indians.
Your
Tribe.
The Wahoo Warriors.
Much revamped over the offseason. They gave me hope as an Indians fan. I am not going to lie to you. Probably about October, November of last year, I swore the only way I would ever go to an Indians game is if it was for work. I'm not going. I'm not spending my money. Fuck the Dolans. It's not happening.
They
Over
spent
the
money.
offseason,
They spent some money.
there's still several holes on this team, which we'll talk about. But they at least showed the initiative that they're willing to spend some money on this team. They went out and they made a lot of changes. So, without further ado, your 25-man roster with the lineup of Michael Bourne in center field, Asdrubal Cabrera at short, Jason Kipnis second, Nick Swisher first base, Michael Brantley in left, Carlos Santana, although isn't Santana back in cleanup? Or Swisher back in cleanup?
Swisher back in cleanup.
Okay.
Santana's hitting 5th or 6th.
Okay, Mark Reynolds DH, Lonnie Chisenhalt third, Drew Stubbs in right. On the bench, Yan Gomes, Jason Giambi, who's hurt right now.
He just was activated.
Oh, he was? Okay. So Ryan Raybor, Micah Viles, and Lou Marson, who I think is hurt now.
He is. That's why Gomes is
so what about Omar Santos? Is he really on the bench, or is that just misinformation?
I don't know if he was called. He might have been called up.
The starting rotation, and this is where it falls apart, folks.
Sucks.
It's not good. You've got Justin Masterson, Ubaldo Jimenez, Brett Myers. That 4-hole, is McAllister in that 4-hole?
Yeah.
Yep.
And in that 5th hole is Casimir / Carrasco /
Bauer.
Carrasco just got an 8-game suspension.
Yeah. So that's a little up in the air. In that bullpen is closing Chris Perez, stud. Benny Pistano, stud. Joe Smith,
Sidearm stud.
Their relief pitchers, their bullpen is incredible.
Cody Allen, Rich Hill, Brian Shaw, and who else is in that pen? Because I don't think this says Nick Hagedorn. Is he in there?
He just got called up.
Just got called up?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is
They
current.
put Albers on the paternity list.
Yeah, that's right.
Right now.
Yeah, I already said
Yes.
that. On the disabled list is Lou Marson. Strained his neck, placed on the 15-day DL as of April 9th. Matt Albers is placed on paternity leave. Frank Herman, Tommy John surgery on the 13th of March. He's done.
Yeah.
Scott Kazmir has a strained rib cage, placed on the 15-day DL on the 2nd of April. Josh Tomlin, Tommy John.
Could probably be back this year.
Maybe.
They need him back, but it's hard to say when
Blake Wood had Tommy Johns of May 25th of last year.
He could be
back this year.
bullpen help.
Yes.
Yes. Solid bullpen arm.
Could be.
So, and of course, in that bullpen, you've got Mike McDade, who sticks out. Matt Laporta, who was not very successful. Minor leagues, my bad. Laporta not so successful last year, but who knows?
Aguilar, big prospect.
Yeah. Trevor Bauer, who did make a start, did not play. Did not pitch terrible, but did not pitch well.
You got to walk the first four guys, and then you start.
Not impressed.
Yeah.
Not impressed.
So Francisco Lindor.
Still a year or two away.
Yeah, still a ways away. So this Indians team.
Okay.
I'm going to go first because I'm the most optimistic of everybody. At this table.
You can go first. Okay.
I really like this lineup. They've shown that they can score runs. They hit the cover off the ball in spring training.
They didn't hit the cover off the ball
Not
against
so much
the
in the
Yankees.
Yankee series, but it's early. It's cold.
It
It's
is.
Cleveland, Ohio.
It's early.
It
wasn't that cold, though.
Well, yeah, it's going to take a month for the weather to heat up and the ball to start flying out of the park. I'm not worried about the hitting at all. I'm really happy with this lineup. I think the outfield defensively, if it's not the best in the majors, it's top in the majors.
The outfield's supreme.
Now the problem is,
rival of them would be Atlanta's.
yes, but the problem with the Indians is the pitchers have to keep the fucking ball in the park, which to this point, not been so successful.
Not so much.
Not so.
We're not into that whole pitching thing right now.
Not right now. No.
It's not part of the game. I don't think.
Gave up 25 runs in 2 games.
Yeah, I don't think pitching's part of the game.
Let's face it, this rotation is awful.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Masterson, who was probably a 3 or 4 on any other team's rotation.
At best.
No. I think that's solid. He might be a 2.
He's a 3 on a good team.
If he pitches like he did the year before last, he's a 2. He's not an ace.
I
think move him up to a 2. I think 3.
You've got Ubaldo, who's pitching at AAA somewhere.
He blows
on any other team.
He blows. That's your boy.
Well,
that's your boy, man.
I defended Ubaldo because
that's your boy.
Ubaldo has shown flashes of greatness. Now, granted, they've been flashes, but
wham, Flash.
He's gone. Don't give me them eyes.
What's Flash tell you? He sucks.
He's gone back.
He's
to
terrible.
the basics over the off season. He's been watching his
Why
mechanics.
was he throwing 98 3 years ago, and now he's barely touching 90?
Well, okay.
Something's wrong.
He's working on his mechanics. The problem with Ubaldo is he'll pitch 9 different. He'll throw 9 different pitches if you let him. He's got to rein that into 3 or 4. He's got to rein that into 3 or 4 solid pitches and work on those instead of trying to throw 8 or 9 different pitches.
I'm just glad Pomerantz and White didn't turn out.
So, past Ubaldo, Brett Myers, McAllister, Carrasco / Kazmir /
Bauer /
Blash, whatever. Who knows? All bets are off.
Yeah. They suck.
All bets are off when it comes to those guys.
Okay. Thank you.
But
I appreciate that, brother.
I do think that if this pitching staff can get with this lineup, these pitchers don't have to pitch shutouts. They can give up 3 or 4 runs and still win games.
3 or 4.
So I think the Indians. I've got the Indians at 85 and 77.
Oh my God! You got to win him,
Doug.
Well, I do like their lineup. They spent some money and brought in Nick Swisher and Michael Bourne, traded for Stubbs.
Signed Reynolds.
They've done a lot. I give the Dolans props once for finally opening up the checkbook, whether that was due to the sale of STO and they made $240 million and they're getting an extra 20 some million starting next year from MLB. So they got some money coming in and they've spent some money, which I think they had to. I think at the end of that last season, I would say the morale of Tribe fans was about as low as it could go.
Yeah, I agree.
The team was bad. The prospects are slim.
Flirting with 100 losses.
I mean, things just
Oh, yeah.
didn't go well.
Yep.
And did they upgrade the lineup? Yes. Did they upgrade the pitching staff? No.
No.
Exactly.
The starting staff is a shambles.
Most definitely.
Justin Masterson, fortunately, at this point early in the season, has been tremendous. He's been masterful. But
Hold up.
once you get past that, Ubaldo Jimenez is Ubaldo Jimenez, who, in my opinion, is terrible. He's done nothing to.
He's lost it.
Has he thrown a good game here and there? Yeah, I'll give him that. Most of his games bad? Yeah. Brett Myers was a hope and praise sign, a 1-year deal, and he's been shelled whether he comes out of the bullpen or he starts. McAllister, his one start was fine. Carrasco, Casimir, I mean those are shots in the dark. The bullpen is fantastic, but will that bullpen be blown out by June?
Yep.
Possibly. I just don't see this team any better than 78 and 84. I don't think they're a 500 team.
You know what? In all honesty,
I think the starting pitching is going to bring down whatever positives you can get out of that lineup and that bullpen. That starting pitching is going to bring it down.
and you know what?
What'd you say?
78 and 84.
That is sad to say, but I'm right there with you on that one too, because of the reason they don't have the people. They brought in a lot of talent, fuel-wise, and that can hit. Absolutely, they went out and spent the money. They got the good people in there, and they want to be there, and they're good talent.
They added about 100 home runs to that lineup.
Yeah.
But the problem is, what Mr. Becknell just said is, they don't have the starting pitching to get to that great ass. They have probably, in my opinion, one of the best bullpens in baseball, period.
Oh, yeah.
American or nationally, one of the best.
They do.
But the problem is, they're not going to get the opportunity to shine because they have no starting pitching whatsoever. They suck. Their starter, their number one starter at best is a third. At best a third. And they invested a lot of money in their number two, which isn't even their number one. A lot of money in that, and it's like they lack there.
So give us a record, James.
I'm going to say 80 and 82. And that's generous. That's a generous record. 80 and 82, that's generous.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so far, you and Doug both have them in 4th place.
Well, I don't see how they're going to be any better.
Zach?
I think it'll be out the Twins.
I'm going to...
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give them... The Bats are going to win quite a few games for them, I could see. But, you know, I'll give them 83 and 79.
Not much better than what we get.
3rd place finish. I mean, that rotation.
It's terrible.
It's
terrible.
I've given Ubaldo the benefit of the doubt and the benefit of the doubt and the benefit of the doubt.
So
and
is he.
Tired.
So is he.
I'm sick of seeing him. He's got the Fausto Carmona syndrome in my head now.
Yeah.
Roberto Hernandez. I am tired of him. I got tired of Hafner. He's gone. I got tired of Sizemore. He's gone. We need to get rid of people like that.
Well, he's the epitome of getting paid a lot of money.
They're
that does
stealing a
nothing.
paycheck.
Oh, wait a minute. He gets paid well. He doesn't
not
get paid
making
a
that
lot.
much, but he just...
He gets paid more than what he's worth.
I don't.
Well, I
see-
can't disagree
I don't
with that.
see any fire in him at all. I see indifference.
You hit the nail on the head
I see
right there.
indifference.
He seems like he's
and I
very
see
much
it.
indifferent.
I see the indifference in Asdrubal Cabrera too, and I may be the only one that's thinking that.
No,
No, I
you're
agree
not.
with you
You're
on
not.
that.
If we're in 3rd or 4th place or in last
He's
or
gonna give
whatever
up.
by July,
Absolutely.
Cabrera,
And it's
get Cabrera out of
sad.
there.
It's sad because Asdrubal Cabrera has the talent to be a top shortstop in the league.
He could be another Johnny Peralta.
I think he'd be better than
Cabrera
Johnny
needs to
Peralta.
be dangled
Well,
for a
I
starting
wouldn't insult him
pitcher.
that much.
I completely agree with
What's
that.
that?
He needs to be dangled for a starting pitcher.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And the
absolutely, I agree
Marlins
fully.
might be looking come July.
They won't want him. He's going to make too much. He makes too much
Yeah.
money.
That may be true.
And
Hey, I don't care. Put Aviles at shortstop for the rest of the year.
Oh, Vilas is more than
Fine.
capable of playing
Bring
shortstop.
up Juan Diaz. I don't care.
Well, what
Lindor's
Doug has suggestion is a very good
well,
thing.
I'd play Aviles at short.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, absolutely.
The key
You
thing,
can bring up Diaz.
the key thing for the
Diaz,
Cleveland
he totally
Indians
can.
is this: you put Asdrubal out there, and if you can get yourself
Or Court Phelps.
a substantial starter,
Yeah.
you don't have to be a superstar, but a substantial
No.
starter. We need it, and put him out there because we have somebody that can take Asdrubal's
Hell,
Cabrera's place on our team.
Well,
we have that.
we need
Kansas City's got a decent amount of start. Go get Bruce Chen. I don't care.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
solid.
We need somebody.
I'm not trading Cabrera unless I'm getting at least a solid number 2.
Well, you got a prospect
Yeah.
with him too, maybe, but
Well,
I
yeah.
don't know.
But
I'm not trading an all-star shortstop for a 5th starter. I'm not
no. We need at least
He's going to be
number-
a
we
second
need-
starter of
well,
our
we need-
rotation.
That's
Well, Doug, on this team, that would be the number 1 starter, quite
Yeah.
honestly. I mean, we need somebody that's going to help us, and he would be our best bait to put out there. But no, you're just
We
going to
need-
trade him out to get nothing.
we need people
You
that
need
wanna
a
be there.
solid ass starting pitcher.
That's
Solid,
why I love
solid.
Nick Swisher.
I like
Nick
what they did
Swisher-
in the offseason as far as the batting. but
Nick
that's
Swisher's not only a great addition because he's a good player, he's a big-time boost for that clubhouse.
Yeah.
He wants to be here, which is rare.
Yeah,
He's
boy.
excited. He's fun to watch.
Excited.
Yeah.
He's always joking, positive
Yep.
mood. He always keeps morale.
He
up.
is
and now
Michael
you have a quality manager now.
Yes.
Yes. That's what Doug just said is the key thing there. If it wouldn't have been for Francona coming in
Yes.
here, they wouldn't have went out and spent the money, and they wouldn't have. Francona said, "Listen, we need to spend money to make this team better."
Yeah.
The only
Yep.
problem is they didn't do anything to help their pitching staff out. Their
And
bullpen
like-
is fantastic.
and like I said-
Starting pitching blows.
Like I said before on Sprague, the moment where it hit me was when they went out and they signed Michael Bourne, like Zach said, a bona fide leadoff hitter.
yes,
Yeah.
He's
yes.
a great center fielder.
Great-
He's got
great
speed.
player.
And you have
Great
a
player.
guy like Mark Reynolds too, who is a
Yes.
solid
Hitter.
clubhouse guy.
Yeah.
And he
he's
can
a
hit
hitter.
the ball, man.
He's quiet, but he's
Yep.
a veteran
Hit
guy.
the ball.
He's averaged 30 home runs for his career.
Well,
he
he's
hits
tough.
the ball a
He's
mile.
tough.
Yep.
You know, he's
Yep.
going to strike out 150 to 200 times. This team is going to strike out.
Absolutely it
And
is.
they already have a lot
Yep.
through the first.
Yeah, they
whatever
have.
Not
game.
quite like the
So-
Astros, I don't think.
No, not at a historic pace. But hey, you know, if we're cranking some home runs out,
But they're going to
I
have.
completely
There's only
agree.
so many 9 to 8, 8 to 7 games you're going to win.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
No, you're
Absolutely.
right. You're right about
You
that.
have to have pitching that can step in
Well, I
and
think
shut teams down.
odds are, and even with this lineup that I think is
Why
going to
pick
score
them
some
third?
runs, if you give up more than 4 or 5 runs, odds
You're
are you're
losing.
going to lose.
You're going to lose.
Right.
You're going to lose.
On
That's-
most nights.
that's-
on most
yeah.
nights.
on
Right.
the average, you're losing. On the average,
It's
you're
going to be
losing
tough
this
to
game.
average 6, 7 runs a game.
Yeah.
That's damn near
Nobody's
impossible,
Absolutely.
right? So-
Absolutely.
Well,
absolutely.
if that bashing lineup of the late '90s, early 2000s didn't do it, this lineup ain't going to do it.
You're right about it.
and they had a lot better starting pitching back
But
then.
even-
But
a lot better
even
starting
back
pitching.
then, the pitching was not the focus of the team.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't.
Now, if we had the Tigers rotation, we're challengers for the World Series.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because we have the
Absolutely.
hitter, we have the pitchers and the
Yeah.
hitters. That's what we are lacking.
Yep.
We either stand out with pitching or we stand out with hitting.
Now here's
we
the
don't
question.
get
We're
both
doing it all
together.
right.
Here's the
That's
question.
the problem.
Yeah.
Come late June, early July, the Indians
Or
are
500.
flirting with second, third place. Not looking horrible, not looking great. Do you think they make a move and bring in a starting pitcher? If they think it will get them
Wow.
over the hump and land them in second spot,
Well,
maybe a wild card.
It depends on who you're going to get.
I think they'll play it down to July 31st of the trading deadline.
Yeah.
Right.
I think they'll play it up to that point.
How far will you be?
But at that
See-
point, you
see
could
what
be too
they-
far out.
Yeah.
Who's going to want to get rid of you?
Well, if you're too far out, then you're sellers. You're not buyers.
Well, no, but I mean, if you can save it at the end of June instead of waiting until the end of July,
Nobody's going to make those trades.
They-
Those trades won't be made until because every team is going to sit and watch and see where they are
And where
and if they're bad teams, chances are they probably don't have any players that are going to trade you anyway because they're
Right.
probably not good enough.
Not any good. Not any studs.
You're gonna have to identify
That's the point you
a
just
couple
made.
of starters
You're not gonna give up
on
your-
teams
Yeah.
and pursue those guys of teams that are fringe, probably aren't going to make the playoffs. And if you go back and look
Yeah.
at the teams like the Marlins or
Yeah.
the Padres, I mean, those
You
teams
know-
are going to be out. They're going to be sellers, but
Yeah.
what are they selling?
Yeah.
Anything we want to
Yeah,
buy?
you know,
Probably not.
Miami's going to be out of it, but it's like, is Ricky Nolasco really going to make that much of a difference?
Not at that point.
Is San Diego's out of it? Is Volquez going to make that much of a difference?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, they're not.
You know.
That's the point. We need. We need.
Depending on what we'd have to give up for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Now,
we
now,
needed
you
to
could
make.
maybe bring in 2 guys, maybe.
But
Deal for 2 guys, which
but-
would be hard.
but
Yeah.
here's the thing. Point in fact, didn't we need to make these decisions before the season even started? Seriously,
Yeah.
to bringing in the guys we brought in, which is great. Bourne, Swisher, awesome. We brought great additions into this team. There's no doubt about that,
Yeah,
and it makes you excited. But what they lacked in doing was improving one of the main parts of baseball, which is Doug.
Pitching.
You're damn
Starting
right.
pitching.
Pitching. The starters. Our bullpen is excellent. It's excellent, but
I don't
we
care
needed
how,
to
I
bring
don't care
in
how good
better.
our bullpen is. If they're coming in the 4th inning,
They're not.
They're gonna be
burn them out
by the
You're
end
gonna
of
burn
June.
them out.
Yep.
You're gonna burn
They
them out.
are.
We needed to. We needed
Rich
to.
Hill's arm's going
We
to fall
needed.
off.
We needed to bring up.
Long man.
We need pitchers starting pitching
Yeah.
from the beginning, and then you got your hitters, which we brought that in. Well, you can't, like you said, we can't out hit everybody. We had our glory days when we went to 2 World Series. The thing is, and even then, we actually had decent pitching.
Decent pitcher.
They weren't great, but they were decent.
They were clutch.
Now,
Yeah, but
if you can find a
You
team,
needed to.
that's
You needed
got-
to do that.
and this is hard, find a team that's got a little bit of excess starting pitching. I would have said something like the Dodgers.
Dodgers.
The Dodgers now
They're kind
are
of getting rid of their guys, though.
well.
And
That
hurt.
now with Greinke
Yeah.
out, they're probably happy that they've got some guys. Of course, I'm not sure they need Cabrera. But Cabrera would be your trade piece.
Yeah.
He's going to be Cleveland's trade piece, and he's got value. But what are the other teams are going to want to give up? Toronto has started out like crap, but
Yeah.
would they be willing by July, if they're not in it, so to speak, would they be willing to trade Josh Johnson for him?
He looked very good the other night.
Well, yeah,
Well, but it's
he's-
early. It's
but
early.
he's a young,
It's
he's
early.
still a young
It's
enough
early.
pitcher.
I think Toronto's
Sure.
going to be there.
It's early.
I think they will be
But if you
too.
look at a team like Pittsburgh, maybe if they're out of it again, do you go after like AJ Burnett or something like that?
Yeah.
I mean,
Right?
Not for Cabrera.
No,
No.
it's too old.
No.
But
I mean, you've got to target
I mean,
3 or 4 pitchers.
They have to be
That-
substantial pitchers
And-
too.
and-
though. They got to be winners.
Yeah,
They got to be
and
somebody that's going to help you.
You've got to find somebody that's willing to take Asdrubal Cabrera. Do they need a shortstop? He could play second base, but you're going to have to find
Give up
a
his
part.
reserve.
That's if you use him as the trade
Right,
chip.
yeah.
He would bring the most value, I think. Their farm system.
Terrible.
It doesn't exactly
terrible.
Not
have.
what it used to be.
Well,
It's-
I've never been a big fan of Cleveland's farm system.
it's
They
decent.
had their heyday
Yeah.
with Tomey and Ramirez, and those guys came up.
Yeah, but a lot of the players that come through that era you had Tommy and Ramirez, but a lot of those came
Well.
through trades.
Yeah,
That when they were the
They-
best of the when they
We
were
drafted
actually
them, though.
contending and they won the AFC,
Yeah.
the American League.
Yeah.
A lot of those players,
I mean-
a few of them came up through their system. Most of them
You
came
had,
through trades.
Like Eddie Murray and Justice.
Kenny
and
Lofton
Kenny
and-
Omar
Sure,
came
yeah.
from Seattle.
Yeah.
Sandy
Yeah,
Alomar
they
came
came,
in.
Alomar,
they came
Robbie
through.
Alomar,
They came
Marquise
through
Grossman.
trades. They were not
Yeah.
through their farm system
Yeah.
per se.
No,
They had
they're-
Tommy Ramirez,
Yeah.
Bell.
Their farm system is
Yeah, that was
nowhere
pretty much
what
it.
they think it
Nagy
was.
come up?
Nagy. Oh,
Farm
Nagy
system?
might
No,
have.
Nagy was homegrown.
Yeah, Nagy came up
Yeah.
through.
so
but-
is Jared Wright.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
not putting him in that.
He had a good year though. You
Yeah,
can't
but that was
deny
it
that.
though. He only had
Yeah.
one good year.
Well, I mean that's
He's
One good year. One good year.
it was a
That's
World Series year, so you got to kind
Well,
of give him a little
he
bit of
didn't
credit
have
for
no
that.
Actually, he should have won.
Yeah,
he should have won that ball
unfortunately,
game.
He
actually.
wasn't the pitcher that we all thought he was going to
No,
be.
he wasn't.
Mm-mm.
No, he wasn't.
But he pitched great in that game.
But they've
But
upgraded
no,
their hitting, but their starting pitching
it's terrible.
is
It's terrible.
so
It's
far
terrible.
has been atrocious.
It's terrible.
All right, that'll do it for this segment of the Sports Rock Show.
Spur rock.
Join us for the next segment where we put the rock in sports rock.